Hey, how's it going? We are at week 20. 26 is going to be the halfway point. It's currently May. So, yeah, we're 6 weeks away to the halfway point of the year, which feels crazy because both it feels like it has taken forever to get to this point, and so saying that we're only halfway there feels uh, feels like a long time. Feels like the year should be almost up. But at the same time, in aside from these videos and daily life, I cannot believe it. It's already May, and frankly, it's already halfway through May. Feels like I just paid rent, 3 days ago or something, and in 2 weeks it's gonna be due again. It's crazy how time just keeps moving like that. You don't really notice. I mean, I did a lot this weekend, but it's 10 p.m. on a Sunday, and so the weekend is basically over at this point, which is insane to say. Just some observations. This is another week, as probably a lot of them are going to go, where I don't have a lot to say, but I'll make it work for the 13 minutes I need to. To recap, like most weeks, is just kind of the normal. I didn't really do anything special or interesting outside of the normal during the week. However, yesterday it was not the first, but the first time this summer this year that I realized it was like a nice 75 out. It was sunny. It was an overall good day. And so I decided to go for a bike ride. Actually, I decided to do a couple things. So this on like Thursday when I got home, the my downstairs neighbor who lives in the unit below me, they have a cat. Every time I go to enter the building, the cat is at the window meowing at me, and it's so fluffy and so cute. And for some reason this week when I saw it, I said, "All right, that's it. I'm gonna start looking for a cat again." Um, and so yesterday I had the entire day free. So in the morning I was looking up, maybe a cat cafe or adoption places, and I found out that there was one adoption shelter that only has showings twice a week or like visiting hours, and those happened to be Thursday and Saturday. So it was the perfect time. And I looked where they were, and it was about half an hour away by bike. And I went, it's a beautiful day. It's not too hot, but it's definitely not cold. It's going to be a distance to bike. I can bike there, take a look at everything, and then head back. And so that's what I decided to do. Now I didn't think about it ahead of time, and when I pulled my bike out of the basement and I got on it, the tires were basically flat. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just didn't occur to me that, oh, they're rubber tires. Obviously, they've lost air over the last year. They just need to be pumped up. But I instead decided to take my bike to the local bike repair shop and say, oh, there's something wrong with my tires. I don't know what it could be. I don't know if there's a leak or if it's the tubes or yeah, the guy behind the counter just filled them up and said you're good to go. Felt a bit embarrassed, but I guess everyone has some of those moments sometimes. But with that out of the way, I went and I biked there, and I spent like 40 minutes looking around, and I found one cat. So I wanted a medium or long hair one. Most cats are short hair, but I want one that's a little bit extra floofy, especially if this is going to be my pet for the next 10, 15 years. Who knows? Um, and they didn't have a lot of big selection, but they had one that was like this dark gray, long hair. She was very pretty, very soft, very friendly. Only issue is that she doesn't get along with other cats. Has to be a single cat household. However, that's exactly what I'm looking for because I think two is going to get too expensive and too much to deal with at the current time for me right now. I just want one little pet. So I started that process of doing and giving over references and background checks and whatnot. So hopefully within a week or so I hear back, and if I get approved, when I go in, I'll take another look, see if there are any new cats that were uh, brought in. But otherwise, I might just commit to that, and I might have a pet within the next 2 weeks or so. Um, that's kind of everything for the recap that isn't uh, specific to this week. This was originally going to be the week of fire, which was a kind of a two-pronged thing, a two meanings. One of them was getting the fire back of like motivation. I'm back, properly. So for the last 2 months, I've been on a semi diet, and it's kind of worked. I was sort of losing half a pound, maybe a pound a week, and so for the last 2 months, I've lost maybe 5 to 7 pounds. I think I'm more consistently under 200 now, whereas before I started, I was over 200. So I'm definitely seeing some change. But this week, I'm starting back on that 1 to 2 pounds a week diet. I say after overindulging today, but especially the Monday to Friday. During the week, I'm going to be very vigilant about how much I eat, how much I exercise and work out. I'm going to try to get down to my target weight. I have an arbitrary goal of just about a month from now when I go down to Indiana for a card game tournament weekend sort of event. It's entirely arbitrary, but if I could lose somewhere from 5 to 10 pounds, the goal is 10, but that's about 4 weeks away, and 2.5 pounds a week is a lot to try to lose. So, um, anyways, it was good. I'm off track. It was going to be Week of Fire for that, and also because I hung out with friends last night, had a bonfire. But then I hung out with those same friends again today, and I think this is just a better for Week of Friends or Week of Friendship. I don't know the final title for this. But that's also because of some of the things we talked about. So I have been going to bed at, 11 o'clock recently for the past over a month or so. That's like the last month and a half. And last night I didn't get home till 3 a.m. And that was insane. I met up with friends at about 8:30, 9-ish to just have like a little, not even a bonfire, but just like a mini fire and hang out and talk in their backyard. And we ended up sitting out there until it was cold and 2:30 a.m. and one of my friends had work at 9 a.m. and so he got 4 hours of sleep before working the whole day. And then he also, once again tonight, came to the beer garden with us, and right after work we hung out from like 7 till 9 o'clock again. But that was really good. Apparently, both him and I are not from here, so neither of us have a lot of friends or a lot going on. And funny enough, the other two people we're hanging out with have different falling outs and whatnot with their friends. So all of us are sort of in that age range. We're between 20 and 20 to 30. It's a pretty wide age spread, but we're all in that place of making a couple extra friends, having one or two friend groups more than we have now would be perfect. And so I think we've sort of found that one of these groups, which was cool because it was brought up last weekend that, oh hey, we could just hang out and do stuff outside of our like weekly card games. And now it's just something that we've actually done. We said it and we committed to doing it, and we did. That was pretty cool. What else was there? Actually, that was kind of it. And the entire thing was Week of Friends, and it's just because I didn't really have a great title otherwise. I want to go back on that Week of Fire. I think it's a little bit dumb. More dumb than I'm willing to. Although I can talk about some of the not as great sides of friendships sometimes. I've been playing Subnautica 2. It just came out Thursday, I believe. Thursday or Friday. In early access with some friends. And this is part of a larger sort of maybe issue, maybe thing that I should have to get along with and figure out. This other friend group that I have that I play games with online, they are very much the Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six sort of players, where they don't care about a game's story. They don't care about the artistic nature of it or whatnot. If there are guns in it, they want to kill things. If there are enemies, they want to kill them. If there's a fun gameplay mechanic, they want to participate in that. And so I've been waiting for Subnautica 2 because I really enjoyed the first one, and the second one was a game, or the Below Zero was a game. And I really wanted to get into the story, and I was going to wait until it fully came out. I said, I don't want to do early access stuff and, learn things I'm not supposed to, or, I just, for the most part, I want to play a game in its entirety when it's released. That's how I prefer to do it. But all three of them said that they were going to buy it and play it. So I caved and said, fine, I'll do it with you guys. And I don't fully regret it, but I sort of do, because I don't get to do the world building and exploration. Especially because two of them had played 2 or 3 hours of the game originally. So normally you're supposed to go in and just get that sort of prompting and go to the areas based on what the game tells you. And as soon as they went in, they immediately went, oh hey, let's go do this, and they unlocked like the first 4 things. I didn't even know what was going on. And so that's not great. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep playing the save with them. I'm you know, I'm hoping that they'll lose their interest in it within the next couple days, and we'll go back to doing other things, especially since it's early access and we're probably, hopefully, reaching the end of what the game even has to offer. But that's sort of my hopes for that, so that I can just put it down, and then when it fully comes out, restart it, have hopefully, you know, only a tiny bit of knowledge that I have right now, and go into it and play it fully. And I experienced this as well with Ready or Not, the SWAT shooter game, where again my friend got it and he told me to get it, and I was playing it, and we just went around. At first, we just went through the levels, kind of completing them, you know, half-assed. Then we went through and we 100% S rank completed all the missions. And at no point did he ever stop. Now, I always just let him start the missions and do everything. I didn't really know how to work the UI of the game because I just never tried. But at no point did I stop, or did he stop and realize that there's a story to this. It's not just go into a map and shoot enemies and arrest the civilians and you're done. There's more to it, and now I'm going through, even though I already have played all the missions, I'm going through them and really engaging in it, and it's a lot better seeing how they connect, seeing how in mission 1 you arrest a suspect who then tips you off to the location in 2, and you find evidence on a hard drive in location 2 that takes you to locations 3, 4, and 5, and that this is all one big connecting thing. And I really got this when they came out with the most recent DLC, and the last mission, I don't know much about it, thankfully, but it seemed like there was a lot of build-up going into it. There was a lot of story I was missing, and so I, you know, sort of basically decided I'm not going to play this mission with my friend until I've beaten everything else, so I can really understand what this build-up is for. Because as much as I like number get bigger and addictive game mechanics, I do just like a good story. Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite game, and it would not be my favorite game if I didn't play through it and get that story building and do some of the side events. If I just shot the enemies and rushed the campaign, it wouldn't be the same. So there was some highs and some lows this week with friends, but even the lows weren't too bad. It's just figuring out how to work with different friend groups and how to adapt to those styles. You know, with them, I'm going to just have to mostly play games that are more open-ended or less open-ended, and more just go in, complete a mission, and move on. You know, Slay the Spire 2 is a great game for that, because all you do is you go in and you play cards, and, you know, maybe it comes down to resting or smithing what's better for you versus the team that's, you know, going to define the game, but that's about it. And that's it for the week. I managed to ramble for 13 minutes, and I'm now going to go to bed because I'm very tired after last night. So, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great week.